Well, Lincoln Parker joins me now to discuss what this war in Israel means here in Australia. Link, what do you see as being the impact in our region, and particularly when it comes to China and its intentions in Taiwan? Is a distracted world the right time for them to hurry things up?
Well, of course it would be, and China have form already. So you remember back to the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis, which President John F. Kennedy was dealing with back then against the Soviets wanting to put missiles in Cuba. China right then took the advantage of a distracted world to launch an attack on India. So, yeah, we've seen this happen before. This could lead to a larger conflict worldwide. China is certainly taking advantage of it. Because let's look at the flashpoints and let's look at the bad actors that are undertaking war right now, and let's have a look at who's backing them. So if you look at Ukraine, well, China is Russia's no-limits partner. If you look at Hamas, well, they're backed by Iran. Who backs Iran? China. So China is their largest customer. So they buy all of their sanctioned oil to enable them to get around their sanctions. And so China could certainly play a much bigger role in this, as opposed to doing what they're doing on social media, and that is condemning Israel instead of condemning Hamas.
Could we be on the brink of World War III?
Well, I think we could. I mean, we saw how World War I broke open. You know, it was a relatively minor conflict that happened in Austria-Hungary. And now we're seeing a number of conflicts around the world break open. And this certainly could get much larger. And we are now surrounded. We've got China doing deals in Timor-Leste or East Timor. We've got China doing deals on the Solomons. We've got China really with their Belt and Road Initiative having immense control over many nations, and it's something that could certainly break out further.
Okay, so say things do escalate, worst case scenario, how prepared, and I know the answer to this and I wish it were different, how prepared are we as a nation to defend ourselves?
Well, I think we're underprepared for sure. So we have been divided and distracted, and we're certainly underprepared in terms of our military capability. We've been weakened over the last couple of years. We probably should have been doing more over the last couple of decades. But if you look at how many soldiers Israel was able to mobilise in 48 hours, it was about 300,000 reserves they were able to mobilise. So if you look at and they're a population of 10 million, so much less than half of what Australia is. If you look at the strength of the Australian Army, you've only got 60,000 soldiers total. Now, a component of that 10% of our Australian Army is really fit for combat. So we're in strife.
Does the government deserve credit for Cheng Li and her release this week?
Well, I mean, this is just another example of hostage diplomacy that's come out of China. Since Prime Minister Anthony Albanese was elected, he has remained silent. He hasn't said anything critical of China, despite them taking hostage. I mean, she's an Australian journalist, a mother. She's been in jail for 3 years, not being able to see her children. And there are other Australians in prison right now. So I think he's kind of gone down the route of, well, I want to go over to China. It's Gough Whitlam's 50th anniversary. So I'm just not going to say anything. And he's done a good job at that. And it seems like that they're rewarding the guy that is doing as he's told.
Yang Heng, Jun?
Yeah, well, look, I think you should be negotiating from a position of strength as opposed to a position of weakness, which is what the Prime Minister seems to be doing. And it seems that Australia has become weakened under his leadership across a whole number of areas, and including divided, as we know, and we're going to be voting tomorrow on that. But
he's
why
still detained in China, and he is an Australian author, for those who don't know.
And why are you raising it and not the Prime Minister?
Okay, Lincoln Parker, brilliant as always. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Erin.
Thank you.